Hey everybody, welcome back to 6 Gaming. Good video today. Going through my first experiences with nature as a holy healer. I'm decided that this season rather, in Crystal Arena, I'm going to be very, very heavily focused on healing. I don't know what's happened. There's a lot of basically just not very good healers in Crystal right now, and I decided that it would be a good idea for me to go ahead and really master the healing role to, as quickly as possible, get to Crystal this season. So within that, it was, I pretty much have Holy down, not necessarily to a science. There's definitely better Holy healers than me, but I am much more confident with Holy. So I was curious about the nature tree. And so I was like, okay, well, I just need to start healing with it and not really think about it too much. So I started with the I know how to use nature a little bit, but I kind of suck. Granted, I do. I don't know. I just kind of suck with it. And so this is the first game I've used. My first game with the wild staff and using this big AOE E to heal. And basically now, I know the wild staff is not the best, but I'll explain some cool mechanics and systems that exist with it. The Blight Staff is better in every metric. It is better in every metric, but it's basically just taking the Wild Staff and then making it better. It's not that. It's a very subtle difference in change between the Blight Staff and the Wild Staff, but still results in the Blight Staff being far superior. Not just to the healing output, but to also the PvP mechanic. Dealing with stun, silences, roots, slows, interrupts, so many different things that can happen in Crystal. And while the wild staff is really good, right here, saved his life with a armor, which is the primary system difference. So the main difference is that you don't have the healing output is very different. Sorry, compared to Holy. Like with just a couple, like 2 ability presses, I can get somebody to full health with Holy, especially with the change to the new change to the Holy Beam. But now it's with the nature tree, it's just a bit different. It took some time to get used to. I'm just cutting through this game because it was a pretty good game. My first, it was my first one, and then I just wanted to see here. How much different it feels. He cut my dagger pair, cut my healing off right there, so good play for him. And I really like the flowers, so you're gonna get more flower cast if you run the one-handed, which results in a higher Q heal, if that makes any sense. And it may not seem like it, but there's not ever, since I've been using nature, there's not a single game that I haven't really had most healing. So, and this game was a better game. It had a bit better damage pressure up against the life touch, which is very hard to deal with. Right there, a teammate jumped out of my E, which is another thing. A lot of people don't know the wild staff and how it works, so that they don't know, oh, stand in this. So that makes it kind of impossible there. Got overextended, but again, and towards the end of this video, I have a birthday present from my buddy Dario. He gave me an 8.3 Druid robes and 8.3 Great Axe just for my birthday. So I started using the Druid robes to heal with, and initially I did it with nature, and I was able to consistently get my healing cast bonus up to over 100%. 112, 116, 127, or 126 with the 20% bonus from the Holy Tree. Anyways, I was able to get some massive healing with the Druid robes. So that currently is what I've been specking up and trying to master and use. Little juke right there. I broke that. I'm the Great Axe King, so it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to beat me with the axe, just because I've been using it for so long. I can really tell what their system is, what their win condition is, etc. When the axe is looking to make a play, the timing of it, etc. And for any of you, any healers out there who you guys are really struggling in these kinds of fights in terms of healing amounts, like if you're healing if you're losing all the time, or if you're dying too much, just don't heal with holy for a little while. Swap over to nature, and it doesn't matter which one of the nature abilities you use. I'm sure there's even a system for making the great axe or the great nature work, but generally speaking, man, what I would say is nature is better at keeping yourself alive, and holy is better at keeping your teammates alive. Now, the exception to that rule is when the nature healer runs Graveguard helmet. Then it becomes really, then the then the nature is very hard to deal with. I don't use the Graveguard helmet personally. I think I would suck with it, and I would die more often and run out of energy very quickly. I like my healing style and my healing system. But yeah, spamming Qs, and I also did a lot of testing on the differences between either the single target Q or the flower. And the main system is that the flower has a healing activation too. So when you tap them, you put the flower on him, it heals for like 50 plus the tick. So once they get 2 ticks, or 3 ticks right now, every time I hit him with a Q, it's going to heal for that 70 plus 50, and then 70, and then another 70 plus 50, and then 70 and 70 plus 50. So the Q healing is much, much higher when you run the flower. Even using it like I'm using it, just putting it on them for like every spell cast, it's still, it is pretty effective. And the system that I've been using so far is pretty much after I use my E. After I use my E, I go ahead and use my boots to start spamming those Qs real fast. So the one thing that I guess that probably going forward I'll have to start doing a bit better of is keeping track of my Q timers on different players, so that I can basically be better at seeing, okay, they're about to lose their stacks. This would be a good opportunity to use my boots and get 3 stacks. I don't know, like just learning the intricacies of the class and the build a little bit better. But I'm done with after this game. I don't use the wild staff anymore, because I did more testing with the nature tree and found that the only competition in the nature tree is going to pretty much be between the blight staff and the nature staff, the one-handed. The wild staff is it's good, but the blight staff outperforms it in a way that makes me not want to use it, or it makes me not want to use the wild staff. And because the whole point of the nature tree is kind of self-preservation and healing for everybody, you would be surprised to what you can survive through with the nature tree that you can't survive through with the holy tree. And I've also learned from watching OG Kush and Distract and basically the best healers in the game, and they run the same build that I'm running. Scholar Helm, they just run cleric robes, and then cleric robes, and then they will run the refreshing sprint on their boots pretty much always. And the reason for that is basically, if you look at it like this, if your job is to heal, then you have to have the highest healing output you can possibly generate to give your team the best chance they can to fight and win and win basically. So this is the first game that I swapped over to. I'm using Dario. Dario gave me a full kit this game. He gave me he loaned me an 8.3 everything and an 8.2 Blightstaff. That's what he uses to heal with. And after doing some testing and I roughly figured out my rotation, I basically realized that the Blightstaff is the Great Axe of healing. It is exactly the same win condition that the Great Axe has. So my system for movement and playing is exactly the opposite from the Great Axe. And it fits me like it fit me like a glove, man. So the in and out gameplay mechanic is really fun. You have an issue sometimes with how much burst healing you can deliver without the Graveguard helmet. So you just stay ahead of it basically. And man, I've been able to have fun with this build. I still kind of like Holy better, but there are basically nature is now a swap for me. So it's not really that I only use Holy and that's it. No, I'll swap back and forth. But I have to play more games with the nature staff to really understand like the perfectness of it, how to use it, and what kind of team fights it's going to work on versus what kind of games I can't make it work. And also using these druid robes has made a big difference, a big difference in how I've been able to approach healing, because the healing bonuses are so high. A lot of the times I'm actually not being bursted down simply because I'm out healing, which is something that is hard to do if you just run like cleric robes or whatever. So just a good example right here, all this damage pressure, and you can't even tell that we're getting hit. Dario's doing a great job. It's so nice having Dario run in Fire Staff. In this game, this game is not in its entirety, but this is just the initial fight and kind of a crushing dominant performance here. Nature, my W saved him from dying. Anyways, pretty good showing. Most damage taken on my team. I died once. I had a really good focus on me and I got deleted, so Dario at most damage. Pretty typical in most of the games me and him play. And then, so Blightstaff is fantastic. Now this is when I actually swapped the first game. I'm just doing some solo stuff, and I'm playing literally in a build that even before looking at it on paper, like, that won't work. You have no defenses. You can't heal enough. Blah, blah, blah. And the reason I would say that you're right and wrong if you were to think that is because I've healed in plate armor and you still get melted. So the system is that you have to set there's a timer that happens whenever somebody fights you, okay? So that fire stuff right there is literally my protection. And what I mean by that is what you have to do is you can't be too close to the fight as a holy Chile. Because you got to be able to heal and then not die, not get heavy CC'd, heavy focus, etc. But our beam healing is so high that basically it's a switch. But if you play nature healing, it's all AOE. Everybody gets healed, and you basically lose the ability to unless you're using the one-handed nature. You kind of lose the ability to really burst heal somebody. It's the reason people run the Graveguard helmet. But with the new changes to Holy, the Holy Beam is now fantastic. That's the reason I like the one-handed Holy Staff. No other Holy Staff right there would have been able to keep me alive the same way. Because that short cooldown on that E is such a lifesaver, especially every time you go low. It got me with that dagger pair, turned off my healing right there, but because it's already back up, boom. And I have no defenses at all. Like, this is just getting hit and then healing through it. And then timing the hits well. I do that on purpose. I know how to time the dagger pairs pretty well. The only time dagger pairs really mess me up is when they run Assassin Jacket and then Tabuta's Tenacity, and they do that super sneaky fast build. That is sometimes hard to deal with. But yeah, getting those, maintaining the bonuses from your E is 15%, and then that bonus from the Druid robes, every chance you get, like I started popping it now, and you'll watch my healing just keeps going up. My healing numbers keep increasing. Every time you cast for 6 spell casts, you're going to get more and more healing output. And it's helped me. People normally that would die, it's very hard to keep. It's very hard to kill my teammates, but pretty easy to kill me. The main system that I've learned recently is just simply how to back up. Like just how to just run away. And I'm not, that probably sounds silly, but you can't. Depending on the kind of damage focus that I'm about to take, this is a good game. I was happy that I had 2 bolt casters. I'm like, I know how to keep them alive. Well, not at this first play, but yeah, I like the whole one-handed holy is my favorite. It's my favorite way to heal in this game, especially now with the druid robes. That was a misclick right there. I did not expect how much damage they were about to throw on that dude. So that was my bad. Kathleen? My bad. That was a bad caught me sleeping heal right there. And I guess this might be a good time to talk about too. One of the reasons I don't like to click on the bar down there. Is because my attention and focus is 100% on the game, on the actual characters or the enemy healer or my teammates or their fire staff or whatever. So I'm always looking at the screen and my combination of the health bars and what's happening. That's one of the ways I'm able to predict a lot of the hits that are coming in. It's because I'm really paying attention to what's happening, looking for combos and armor abilities or boots to be used, you know, things like that. So when I'm playing, almost never am I looking at that health bar. I'm always staring directly at them. That's the reason sometimes you may see me like not heal somebody and heal somebody else when 2 people are hurt. It's like, well, I can tell who's about to get hit. So that usually becomes the person that I heal. And then because I run the beam and my E is a single target E, it's kind of in my best interest to run the AoE Q. It gives you this really solid back and forth, very consistent healing output over the course of the game. And then this was the just the very next game in this little series. Getting my E stacks, simultaneously getting my druid robe stacks. So right now I've got, after that I have complete stacks on both, but there's no healing needed, so I kind of wasted it there. That's the other thing I like the most about the one-handed holy is that the cooldown of that E is so short that you really do always have some kind of healing to put on somebody. This game wasn't a breeze. I just had a good that Ricky Puto, he is a very good dagger pair. After this game he ended up asking me to play more with him, and we went on to have some good wins. So whenever I play with somebody in particular, they become my focus for the healing, even if they're not the best player. I don't let anybody die, but whoever I think is the win condition, you know, whoever's going to do the most work or give me the best chance to win is who's going to be my focus. And if, you know, somebody can't keep up with damage or they don't understand their build, and it comes to you and the dagger pair guy, you gotta pick the target you gotta heal the ally who's gonna be the most, the one you can't really like live without, you know. And then this is where I was talking about just run away. You would be so surprised what just using your boots at the right time and just completely getting out of dodge for a second and healing up. You'd be surprised what that does to your like success rate. The only thing that can chase you really is going to be like see right here, I should have run completely away. It's really silly to continue this when I got the whole team coming on me and that infernal scythe is looking at me, especially when not with my, you know, with my playstyle, I don't have any defenses, so it's silly. Now I don't make that mistake again. With this build, you're basically trading your you're trading your defensive abilities for an even more increased healing output. Yeah, nope. Those are their 2 damage dealers. So if they chase me back like that, then in the team fight that's happening right now, they're missing their 2 damage dealers. Anyways, it worked out really well. This is a good game. A lot of kill pressure coming at me, so I have since, after this game, I went on to win several more. And basically, I guess kind of my deciding, the final thing is that basically what I figured out is the Holy Tree is fantastic for healing teammates, but if you don't manage your distance or your spacing, if you don't use your abilities correctly, or you let the enemies jump on you, you're pretty much going to get dropped, and there's nothing you can do about it. Even with cleric robes, you're just buying yourself a little bitty window of time. So what I've been forced to do by using druid robes is basically learn completely not to depend on a defensive ability to survive with. It's all healing only. And it worked really well. My healing output was good. And how many times my teammates should have died, but they didn't die? Pretty strong. Now with this build, you're probably most of the time going to end up being, generally speaking, you'll probably be out healed by a nature healer. So I guess the main system is your team tough enough to get by with nature healing, or are they too squishy? If your team is really tough, a bunch of leather armor, a bunch of plate armor, then you can use nature healing to more effect because your team is tougher. So they take less burst damage because they're all in leather, they're all reflecting, and they're dealing a bunch of damage in return. You just got to be there with them to make sure that, keep the stacks on them and hit those E's when the pressure comes in and stuff like that. The other system is that the nature tree is much harder to shut down the healing. You know what I mean? Like, you can knock me back, but everybody's still stacked. So they're still getting healed until their Q stack wears off. And then that little combo is pretty much the definitive version of how the Holy Tree works. You hit somebody that's low with an E, one button press, they're full health, man. So that system is really strong. The only thing to decide now is which healing style do you want around your E ability. Do you want to have the Hollow Fall mobility and CC effect to be able to make picks for your team? Do you double down on the life touch and have the ability to just sit still and basically heal yourself through pretty much anything they can dish out? Redemption staff, the ability to heal yourself and teammates in equal measurements. It's like big heals. I've since learned that the way that I like to do it is AoE Q with myself and E's on myself only, and then beams and Qs for other people. So it depends on what's happening. And then what I do is I always try to run to the people who are hit. Yeah, you got me good there. I always try to run to my teammates who were hurt, and then at the last second try to step into the queue, heal myself too. Because that right there was over 800 healing just in one Q press. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard to go back once you get a taste of these big bursty healing numbers. It's pretty effective. It's pretty cost effective too. The beam heal is just so powerful. The E healing bigger when they're low on health, man. There's a lot of cool things to pay attention to with both trees. But the main thing that like I said before, is what I've seen the difference is the Holy Tree is better or more, let's just say it's more suited for keeping other people alive. Burst healing on other people. Like it's easier to heal other people than it is yourself. Because, you know, with a build like this, healing is high on both self and others. But I don't have a lot of answers for like dagger pairs or infernal scythes, you know, stuff like that. Like I get killed all the time, trust me. With holy, at least. I'm getting better. But the nature tree is a different animal when it comes to how tough you can be. How tough you are as a player is so much different when you're running nature. When you're running the nature tree, your ability to survive yourself is much higher. To the point where when I used to heal, if my team wouldn't protect me, I would just put on plate armor. Like if they wouldn't help, I'd just put on plate armor because I was like, well, if I'm dying all the time, then I needed to make a change so I don't die. But then, you know, obviously I wouldn't be able to heal my teammates. And it's basically the answer there. The answer that I found there was to use Blightstaff now. And with Blightstaff, what you can do is you can pretty much put yourself in these really, really dumb situations. Put yourself in dumb situations and heal through it. And be the center of focus and basically be like a PvP, in a way, like a PvP tank as the nature healer. Because you're not gonna... They should be able to... Your team should help you, and if they don't, then that's the difference. So instead of equipment swaps necessarily, you might just change your boots to the dodge roll. I mean, I still don't, but I just swap to the nature tree, and that gives me the ability to heal myself pretty much effortlessly and not die. I've been able to survive some crazy stuff with nature tree. I have a game where I played against OG Kush and Adam and Fairy and some other people, and I was able to... There's nothing to do for the team against Discord guilds like that, or Discord parties that are too good, because their combos are so polished that whoever they decide to die is gonna die. You can't out heal through a whole team focusing on a target like at the same time. Like you can't do it. So I guess the best way to explain it is like nature tree for yourself and others, and then holy tree is gonna give you the ability to heal your team against damage that might be too high for the nature tree to heal through. But the other thing is really simple, man. You have to learn how to use your boots and that energy potion to get your cooldowns fast. There ain't no other way around it. You gotta have that cooldown. You gotta have that cooldown and cast time food, and you got to have cooldown, cast time food, and then you gotta have that. You gotta have quick fingers, and you gotta pay attention to what's happening so you know how to heal them. As quickly as the damage comes in sometimes, man. And if you can, because I lose a lot of games with healers that can't maintain, they can't heal. Do you know what I'm saying? So, I realized that if I wanted to hit Crystal, it's probably going to be healing. That's where I get my biggest win streaks from. And that's the other thing too. Like, I don't know if I'm any good at it. I like to heal it, and I can tell I'm better than some of the trash healers that I come across on a daily basis. Like I try to make the right movement plays. Like their healer right now, like what is he doing? He's very badly out of position. That the whole initial stages of that fight, man, it was just very strange. And right now, the good healers, the numbers should always be pretty similar, but thank y'all so much for watching. This has been me experimenting with some new, just new changes to the build and everything else that I've been going on lately. I'm very excited for the more videos with Dario and more Crystal Arena goodness. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I can't wait to see y'all in the next video. So I hope y'all have a wonderful day. Nature staff for yourself, holy staff for your teammates, and y'all drink lots of water. Have a good day. I'll catch you guys back in some more get some more clips coming soon. I got a bunch of clips coming for YouTube. I just happened to, I wanted to do this first because I've made a big revelation when it comes to nature and holy and how to use them, and found tremendous success. Currently I'm going to be using the druid robes for a while. It makes me look like a pimp peacock, and yeah, you'll look forward to some more videos with Dario in the future. And thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Let me just skip forward. Hang on. Let's do this. Kind of a weird outro, but y'all have a good day. Peace. And peace. And peace.